Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey. Before I introduce my guests, friends, colleagues, co-hosts, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, hit bells, whistles, all these things. That would greatly help us out in reaching a bigger audience. And of course, please subscribe. guysweekly.substack.com, GIES weekly.substack.com for the only newsletter you really need. So with that being said, welcome on board, gentlemen. The Dashing Dave Thier.
Here I am.
And, of course, the analyst, Manu Rosier. Welcome on board.
Hello.
Hello. Today, we're doing rapid fire, and we're changing it up today, okay? So last week, we got together a bit. We spoke about how we want to restructure the things. We still have the newsletter. We're going to continue reading some of the news, not all the news. We thought that it would be a lot more valuable to kind of go deeper on some topics. So I'm looking forward to it. There are two. So Manu, I hope you don't mind that I added a highlight, and I think that highlight that I added is going to connect to several other things that we spoke about last week. Dave has a lot of opinions. He wrote an amazing piece last week as well, and maybe Dave, you can enlighten us a bit on your thoughts there. But Manu and Dave, what do you guys want to talk about first? Should we talk about the delisting and the payment crackdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah. 20
just-
titles. That is a lot of titles.
So look at that. We're getting some production editing. Did you just zoom in with your camera?
I don't know why it's zooming that much.
A dramatic zoom. It might have been like a automatic assist kind of thing.
Yes, we have a producer.
Yeah, well, I have a person in the background just filming me, just so you know. Just someone.
I was going to say we have an AI producer maybe who's helping out.
Yeah, and someone writing the text I'm reading to you.
Yes.
So,
I'm a VTuber. I don't actually look like this.
No, I mean, and I assume on your side, Dave, you look sharper than what I'm seeing on my side.
Interesting, because I still look blurry to me, but who knows? Who knows what's going on there?
We got to get that under control, man.
Yeah, I think I should exert. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT what
to help you,
what they think about it.
Yes, my solution is just keep it simple, stupid. Get an Elgato camera, works out of the box.
I mean, this thing has been good for me. For the Razer Kiyo has been good for me for a long time. It's just only started being blurry the past, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months. But
getting old.
Or get Manu's camera, the automatic producer you have there.
Yeah, exactly. I just need Manu's guy.
Yeah.
Maybe Manu's guy has a sibling that can
amazing.
come over here.
Probably can ship it to you.
Gentlemen, so before we jump in, there are two things. One of it, I don't think you realize that we've been recording over, I would say, if I just do some head calculations, we've recorded over 80 hours of podcasts.
Right.
And that is amazing. Isn't it?
Yeah, good for us, man. We got a lot to say.
And we've been doing it over a year.
Yeah.
Consistently. And I think that's something worth celebrating.
That's easy to track because I always think it's just a little bit after Nordic Game.
Yes.
Something in there.
Yes, absolutely. So I just want to say, congratulations and thank you for sticking around and making the show an amazing piece of content and information and value that we're providing to everybody.
You, Casey, for making a run.
Yes. The other thing I want to talk about is there is this listener who's always bugging me about, I don't know, I want to know what the guys are doing and all that shit. So I have to. Today we don't have much time, but I would love to just quickly then ask if there's any new things on the Lego side of things, on the video gaming side of things, cat side of things.
I lost my squash racket. That was frustrating. But, then I had a rental, and it worked out pretty well. It was a slightly heavier head, moved faster. And I thought that was all right. I beat Wilco. Been working on beating Wilco.
Sorry, I'm getting pinged on the side here. Trying to get that settled.
I was just telling you about...
That's your producer?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We all have servants off screen. Yeah, my family's been gone for the last 2 weeks. I will go see them on Saturday in the United States of America, uh, such as they are. And so I've just been floating around in this void here in the Netherlands.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
What's happening on your side, Manu?
I just got a code for early access to Battlefield 6 beta. So
Exciting.
So are you gonna hook us up
I'll
or
see
what?
you later.
Yeah.
It's I seen a very good movie yesterday. It's called Weapons. It's about the disappearance of a class of 17 kids, and it's very mysterious and it's really good. And it's I would say higher quality horror suspenseful movie, I would say, than usual. And yeah, I recommend it, with a few famous actors: Josh Brolin, the lady from Ozark, and yeah. And I've been to the movies a few times. If we change media, Natural Creatures is also very good, serial killer movie. Yeah, a few. I would say I had more pleasure in these kind of movies than going for Fantastic Four, for example, or Superman, which were okay, but not really refreshing. Let's put it that way. And yeah, other than that, Battlefield 6 and new season of Fortnite, and my kids are back tomorrow. So
Nice.
yeah,
The Fortnite just keeps coming. I saw Bad Guys 2 recently. That
yeah,
was
me
great.
too.
Love that movie.
Bad guys or
Absolutely.
bad boys?
Bad Guys. I thought it was really fun because I had recently seen both Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. These kind of live action remakes. And Bad Guys 2 is like unapologetically a cartoon, like fully embracing that medium, and that is real cool to see because I feel like those other two movies were just slightly worse versions of the real thing, and Bad Guys 2 was the real thing.
Yeah,
I completely
I agree.
missed that series or that movie.
It's just like heist movies.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
starring
heist
Sam
movies
Rockwell as a wolf.
are always awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I still to this day, I think I've watched Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence maybe at this point 500 times, I believe. So there are these and I think these types of movies is like the type of movies where you go back to over and over and over again. You know the pieces, you know where things are funny, and you just fast forward to it. I came to the conclusion 2 days ago that the ultimate form of entertainment, art, athleticism, the total package is WWE.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah, it's got everything, I suppose.
It's so when I was a kid, obviously following it, and then you grow up, oh, that's just crap and fake and stuff like that and all that stuff, and we know that, but that's not the point. The point is when you look behind the scenes, and this is why I'm saying go to Netflix and watch the documentary series that came out a couple days ago.
oh yeah.
The production, the storytelling off the cuff, the acting, the pain, like it's freaking crazy, and just the production is just crazy. It's
Oh, and just the charisma of some of those performers is shocking.
I mean, yeah, and some people might see them as cringy or whatever, but I think the switching on and off, like they are real actors, and
Yeah,
I
of
would
course.
dare say they're better actors than movie actors, so to say. Maybe it doesn't translate once they leave and do other things, but what I'm trying to get to is like the total package, and how crazy it is to watch how they operate the entire show, and the professionalism of these people behind the scenes. It's crazy because obviously they're out there beating the shit out of each other, and then behind the scenes they're shaking hands and oh, I'm sorry for doing that and X and Y Z.
Well, I've known people that have worked there, and The fact that they are able to maintain that professionalism, well, under the leadership of Vince McMahon, is even more impressive because he's a monster.
I will reveal today. Okay. That so there is an Iraqi wrestler from back in the day, and I think he went by the name of General Adnan Al-Qaisi.
Yeah. I remember.
And me and my father and my my uncles, when people ask, "Oh, are you guys related?" We're like, "Yeah, he's one of our cousins."
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we are.
Why not say that?
Pretending we are related. But yeah. So me and the kids started watching WWE a lot this year. And I can recommend, highly recommend, like the storylines are freaking amazing. That's what I've been up to. Okay, so gentlemen, now that we satisfied one of our customers,
at least one.
At least one.
We have one fan.
Yes. Let's move on to talk about what we mentioned before, which is the Mastercard and the crackdown, the payment processor crackdown on adult-related games on Steam. So please do take it away, enlighten us. What's going on there, Manu?
That's the kind of topic I barely want to touch with a stick because it's always, can backlash when you have some opinions about that. I think a bit of story in there. So apparently it started with Collective Shout, an Australian anti-porn activist group. They published an open letter and they were targeting specific games on Steam and itch.io. And apparently after that, they urged the payment processors like Visa, Mastercard, PayPal, and Stripe to stop facilitating the payment on the purchase of this content. There was a reaction from Valve that adjusted they updated their developer rules in mid-July 2025, so that it bans content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam Payment, blah 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 blah. Then there was auto censorship somehow, and then the thing is, it's a bit unclear if the payment processing companies actually put pressure directly or indirectly. It's almost like nobody wants to take the ownership of the actual censorship, which is what one discussion. It's not great PR, I would say, for some of them. And I think the question, and now people are talking, where does it stop? Is it pedophilia? Is it like killing kids? Where is it sexual representation? And where will it stop once it started? And then there you have names like GTA being then thrown in the mix.
How come GTA is thrown in that mix?
Because you can drive on people and you can have it's degrading to women in some cases, as there is like representation of prostitutes and things like that.
Okay.
Same with Saints Row, which is a clone of GTA.
Well, does GTA does not have like female nipples, but some other game, God of War did. And that's always going to be one of those lines, is like, have they decided that just having nudity qualifies as pornography or not? And that's, I think, a huge part of what people talk about.
Mm-hmm.
When they talk about the slippery slope, because you can obviously put nudity in things and it's not vulgar. But where to draw that line has become a question for Valve and maybe Mastercard, but we have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough place. And these groups like Collective Shout are not going to get more timid after this victory.
Mm-hmm.
And so sorry, just to clarify, is it a victory? As in, so my understanding is they have delisted now the content that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
But where I feel uncomfortable, it's that there is no legal judgment. There is no injunction from the law to do that. is the pressure of some activists that has caused that. And I think that if the law is not covering that, then the law must cover that somehow, and the authorities must come and say this is yes, this is no. But it cannot be driven by some people that are more vocal than others. I think it's more about that. Where do you put everybody can put the needle at a different level of censorship, but I think this should be defined by the law and be valid for everybody, within a country at least, if not internationally.
I mean, I think that, it's law. I definitely agree with you. And I think that what we've seen now is the kind of ways that authoritarian cultures work, that it's not necessarily that self-censorship is a huge part of that. It's not that someone's come down with a hammer and said, you have to take this out of here. It's just that they maybe this put their finger up in the air, saw which way the wind was blowing, and would rather not trouble. And I feel like that's a mechanism behind a huge amount of this stuff. That, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that we see things like this, as far as when there's a general worldwide, or at least throughout the Western world, conservative tilt.
Yeah, and it also comes together with the discussion we had about the UK age verification challenges in previous week. I think people are always fine where they stop other people to have access to content they like, but nobody likes to be gated from the content they are interested into, I think. And yeah, it's there is a lot of moral judgment in there. That's why I think we have to stay neutral, because everybody is coming from different cultural background, religion, and some things are fine for some culture and religion, some things are not fine. But I think it's more about the legality of it, and it's like financial institution. They act as a content gatekeepers, but that's not their role. Okay,
Well,
that's
if anybody should be audited, then that's the financial institutions.
Yeah.
But so do I? So just to ask this question, then, did they delist it from all countries or worldwide, or did they Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Just
I'm not sure they can really easily. I mean, they've done that with the PlayStation games for other reasons, as we remember. But yeah.
Well, I think there's always, when if you want to think about companies' capabilities here, the look is always Germany, because a lot of places make sort of custom content for Germany regarding Nazi stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have some restriction already. I think in Germany you cannot see the color of the blood.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's an old story. I think in Japan also, in some country, it's more about same sex relationship and things like that. So there are already left and right things, but they are usually local laws about it. It's not just pressure from organizations.
Yeah, and then Valve can just say, "Listen, it's not our place. It's not our place to make these decisions. We're just following the law," and that's probably right.
Absolutely.
I think generally speaking, what I like about Valve and Steam is that they are very open-minded and they let the market decide what goes to the top and not go to the top, right?
Mm-hmm. But what does that mean what could that mean in the long term if these traditional payment companies continue to block the purchase of content? It could mean everybody goes Bitcoin or blockchain, and people will find different ways to purchase that. Like new method of payment might emerge if you can't get them from the traditional
and different platforms without some of the security offered by a place.
Yeah. And that I think that's one of the reasons why a company like Mastercard doesn't want to look like the bad guy in this story, and doesn't acknowledge that they put any pressure. It's because it's not great PR for any of them.
I mean, my immediate reaction when I read this is like, oh yeah, Valve is probably gonna start their own payment providing,
Yeah.
It's not that simple. Yes.
Apparently not.
Yeah, you don't want any piece of that.
Well, isn't it just like two companies that control the entire thing? It's Visa and Mastercard, and that's it, or? something like
Yeah,
that.
it's difficult. It's difficult to
Right.
you cannot get a plastic card which is not I think Mastercard or Visa at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not
Well,
it's
PayPal,
the whole
PayPal
infrastructure.
Venmo, I believe you can get a physical card, and they are payment processors. But like, if you want to do that, you need to build your entire business around that. Like, especially during a lot of the crypto stuff, when people are going, "Oh, we can have our own coin," and that kind of thing, and all of a sudden, then you're exposed to a degree of regulation that is beyond anything else.
So is this reminiscent in any shape or form to back in the day when violence in video games were a thing and people were blaming video games for real life violence? Is there anything related to that with this conversation?
Broad strokes, sure.
Or is this just like, because I've never heard about this until obviously you brought it up and highlighted it. And considering the activist group is Australian based, is that my understanding? I'm very surprised to see the impact then, because usually, like, and Australia is a very small country in numbers.
Yeah, it's been talked on Reddit, in gaming subreddits. I don't know. Sometimes there are news or like a group of news that come to my on my radar that are rather significant, and then you see the story unfolds and get messier and messier. So I think I've seen many different pieces of news about covering that story for sure. Yeah.
So how about I ask you a future question then? Do we foresee that this type of thing will get worse or better? Do you think Valve will actively work on trying to, like, find a solution that allows them to bring back content? Or do you think we will see more of these types of delistings or oh yeah, I don't like that, remove it? It feels a bit like, cancel culture a bit.
Yeah, Epic will find a solution.
Yeah. Epic will just become the home of porn, which that is so in line with their philosophy overall. Like, I would actually not be shocked if they are thinking about ways to make that happen, because they're like famously super just open. I talked to Tim Sweeney about that once.
And it's not. I mean, Epic. It's more about getting rid of any middleman between them and the customer. They don't want to pay X% to Visa or Mastercard for the method of payment fees. So, I mean, there have not been. I've heard nothing from Epic in this story, but I would say I don't think Valve has the ambition to kind of change the world completely. I think it's probably. Unless it become a much bigger thing. I don't. Valve are not really activists. You cannot really say that. They've just listened to the players and they've made the life of the players as easy as possible. They don't have shareholders or that kind of thing. So they're just doing their business, which was very innovative when it started. But they are not activists, I would say.
I think you can look at the founders, right? That, like, Gabe Newell is clearly super interested in hanging out.
Yeah.
That's going to trickle down throughout the whole company. Like, ultimately, like, he's got a ton of money and he is enjoying it. And Tim Sweeney is super interested in activism, and that trickles down through the whole company.
I think just to add, maybe it's one of those things as well. Like, they have this Excel sheet, right-click, sort by tag. Oh, okay. Collectively, all these games make 0.1% of our.
Yeah.
So whatever, and then just like deactivate. That could be a thing. Okay, gentlemen, I feel like you want me to move over to something else. This is a game that I put in there. I hope with your permission, Manu.
Well, you play the game because you remove part of the title, which made it look not as honest as the article is. I went back and I put back. I edited the link because.
But what was it? Tell me, what was it before?
He removed so Peak developers would rather you pirate its game than play Roblox. But no, that's not playing Roblox. It's playing the equivalent of their game in Roblox.
Yeah.
That's an important distinction, because they're not saying don't play Roblox. They're saying don't play Roblox microtransactions.
Yeah.
That's correct.
why.
That is correct. So Peak came out 2 months ago, exploded. I think it has right now 50,000 concurrent users. And then in less than 2 months from launch, you have a copycat in Roblox, almost 1-to-1. And I'm sorry for removing the screen. I'll bring that back up, because there are things here that I don't understand how you can get away with. Now, I know Roblox has a lot of copyright infringement stuff, all the way from the anime stuff to other, like, if it's Hollywood movies or other IPs or whatever. But this for me feels like it's crossing the line, especially on how fast this thing came out. And I would love to hear from you guys. I before the call, I was talking to Dave about, like, this is going to be like, I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts about long-term IP investment and brand recognition and that stuff, and how you own your audience. But I'll leave it up to you guys to kind of, like, give us your thoughts about this.
So I think what we were talking about earlier, we'll get to the long-term brand investment, which I think is interesting. But we'll move a little bit further down the newsletter also to talk about Gabe Newell urges young developers to embrace AI tools for competitive edge. And this, to me, is part of the same story, because the reason this follow happens so quick on Roblox is not really ultimately anything to do with the platform of Roblox. People clone things everywhere, and that's just a problem that people work on the best they can. It's because making games in Roblox is easier. It's a set of tools that is relatively easy to work with, creates things within a smaller band, but like that's kind of the purpose of Roblox. Is it's a approachable game engine that people are now very good at moving quickly in. And you could see, obviously that's the idea of AI tools as well, is people can make games more quickly. And I think this is just going to continue to be a more and more of a problem as people get better at making games quickly. That, like, yes, you can never say that you're against, like, tools that make it easier for game developers to make games. Obviously, we want that. Obviously, we want people to be able to make new things, be less bounded by the amount of work involved, be able to be creative, all that. But there's also no way of guaranteeing it only goes to the people that we like. And you're going to see more and more clones as these tools get better and better.
Yeah. And I mean, we were talking about censorship just before. Like, should Roblox censor games that are like unlawful copies of existing games? And I think that's a big discussion. I mean, censorship, or I don't know if you call it like that, in the same way also you have Nintendo and Pole World discussion. It's like,
yeah,
how alike can you accept?
A lot further away than this is from further away from Pokemon, that is. And here it is. It's like you were talking about. This is the law. We are talking about the law now, actually. Copyright law thing.
I'm right now. I'm just torn a bit about how far over the line this is, if at all. There is, I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that this is, like, gonna profit on the heels of Peak. And I'm not necessarily against people copying mechanics but this is just too close, isn't it not?
Yeah, well, because I think it feels too close, right? It's the what's the pornography razor, as they call it. You know when you see it, and it's when you have a marriage of copying art style and copying mechanics that you start to get into. And, like, this is not a legal definition, obviously, but, like, it's when you're doing both those things at once, and it's really clear that you're just making something that a clone.
In this specific case, we watched some Cliff. The game is called Cliff on Roblox. We watched some footage just now, and I had a hard time distinguishing that from Peak. but also you look at the marketing material that was used, the character shapes, the character. I'm not sure how. I assume they're not protecting their, like, they don't have any trademarks or anything like that, which is unfortunate that some indie developers don't think about. But I just feel like this is way too close to be okay. Do you guys know, historically speaking, if Roblox has done anything to protect IP owners and that type of stuff? Because
I'm not sure. I mean, even in Fortnite, you had the impostor, which was a copy of Among Us. I think it's not there anymore, but I don't know if it was removed because of that. So you have some. You can find in some Fortnite Island some gameplay mechanics that you find in other games also.
Didn't Epic make an Among Us game mode?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the impostor.
that was made by Epic, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
what was it called again?
the impostor.
Well, then also you've got other things like there's a popular like Among Us like game where you're ducks, and it's like I don't know, they did a nice job making those ducks, and I'm not sure. It's just tricky. It's not like you're never allowed to use those mechanics again.
I think I found the imposters thing for Fortnite. But this is not IP infringement though. I mean, it's a mechanic or like a game mode. Isn't that the case?
Yeah.
I mean, you have it's multiplayer game where you are all in a spaceship and you can kill people and then send people. I think there's a lot of similarities. There will always be, because as I think we discussed a few weeks ago, the key gameplay mechanics have kind of been discovered, and there is not much happening in that one.
Yeah.
You can consider then the concept of battle royale was also a ripoff from one to the other. It's just and it's a very old concept when you think about it, and I think there was no clear owner of that concept. So I think it's different from the peak experience that you see in Roblox, which is really way closer in terms of.
Yeah, because I don't think not only was Among Us not the first social deception game, but they're based on games like in-person games like Mafia and that kind of thing. The provenance is difficult, but I think that's why when you're combining mechanics and copying art style, the provenance becomes a lot less difficult. They're
Total
just
package, yes. And this was where it brings me to the discussion about IP and how important it is, or is it even important anymore? I would love to hear your thoughts here, especially for new studios who are making games that are successful, but they might not be having a strategy or a thought process about the longevity, the or the value of the IP or the impact they want to have long term. Does IP matter?
Yeah, sure. I think that the only way to defend yourself against this kind of thing is, man, Manu, your camera just keeps getting closer.
Spazzing out.
I feel like whether you're releasing a new game, trying to promote an existing game, or trying to maintain a success, the most important thing in the gaming industry right now is community. Is you need your people. They are going to defend you. They are going to buy your game regardless of other things. They are going to publicize you. That is like, as all culture everywhere has become atomized through the internet, and this is a continuing story. It becomes more and more important to form your people around your things.
A studio that I feel like has been doing it a bit differently, or rather, the IP of the studio is more important, in my opinion, than the IP of the games. I would say From Software is a good example, and I'm sure you might have other good examples. Maybe Blizzard back in the day as well.
I would say From Software is probably the most specific current example, but I'd say another one's Nintendo.
Nintendo, yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
of course, they do it with an army of lawyers as well, but when Nintendo releases things,
Yeah.
you pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if From Software, and we've seen a couple of their games recently, obviously, as soon as that logo shows up, like, shut up and take my money.
Mm. That the IPs and the brands are more important than ever. Just to be clear, this is all ecosystems are based on brands and on IPs. That's why they recycle so much all these brands and IP, because it's so difficult to build them. So I think you absolutely have to protect them.
Which is interesting because you have a news item related to Capcom, and the back catalog of titles, ranging from Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, it's a Street Fighter, childhood game. And what is this accounting for? It's dominating the Q1 2025 game sales.
Mm-hmm.
So is that related to IP recognition and fandom, do you think? Or what is that related to?
To the fact that maybe they didn't release good new games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, things dominate either because of their own strength or the weakness of other things.
Yeah, I think Capcom is still a company that doesn't really rely heavily on live service games. So its seasonality will really be it's a portfolio story more than anything else, or real estate story. What I think is interesting here is that Monster Hunter Wilds is doing very badly. That's also the underlying message there. It's really struggling, and that's why the share price took a dive down.
Really?
Yeah.
But I feel like we've seen a lot of stories. I can't think of any other particulars right now, but essentially live service games that make a huge splash and make all these headlines at launch, and just into the wind.
Yeah,
but
which is there are still massive, I think, significant technical issues on PC.
Yes.
That's one of the issues. And I remember, Casey, you were a fan, but I'm not sure you're playing that much anymore for some reason.
Well, my problem was that I lost my save, and I just got demotivated because I think I spent
22,000 down from 1.3 million. Yeah. And, it's always the thing that this was conceived of not as a live service game. If this was conceived of as a game that you buy and play and then perhaps release new content for, which basically what it is, then it could be in way better shape. The share price takes a hit because, not because this should be defined as a failure in any way, but because this is what the expectation was.
Yeah, and then you have Devil May Cry. They're doing quite well, but Devil May Cry, it's not a recurring revenue. Huh? You have to convince the audience every time you're launching a new game in the series. So it's different. It's not, the audience is not as captive as it is with a live service game.
I see. Okay, so just to kind of like go back to the IP questions. What is the recommendation for indie studios, Dave?
Community, as I said earlier. I mean, you should, if you get an IP and it lights up, then you should do your best to get it out there, make sure it's attached to your studio, and like define it through, transmedia stuff, through active social media presence and that kind of thing. But again, do put effort into your community, put effort into building, maintaining, and listening to your community. And that's going to be the core of your IP defense.
So a lot of what I just heard, I think what you're saying is invest in your studio IP. Is that correct to say?
Or... Yeah, because community is a form of studio IP, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Gentlemen, we have almost, I would say, probably 10 minutes to go. Are there any other items that you'd like to, or that you feel are important to talk about today?
Yeah.
Which one?
Nintendo is increasing the price of the old Switch, or the Switch 1.
Really?
Which is smart.
Yeah.
Yes, which is smart. It makes the Switch 2 feel less expensive somehow. It's price anchoring. And now they claiming it's because of the tariffs and yeah.
I mean, we've also seen wild inflation since the Switch was originally released. Like it's not.
Yeah.
But I think that it just speaks to this is the big thing that's happened in the world of gaming electronics and electronics overall, that like there has always been this assumption that things get cheaper over time. But you're not gaining the manufacturing efficiencies as quickly as you did in the 90s or anything like that. And it's just it's like buying a couch now. Like there's no reason why a couch that was released in 2005 is all of a sudden going to be half as expensive in 2010.
Yeah. And so that's one. And then there is some, as you show on screen, some discussion about the price point, the $80 price point. I think EA is not going to follow that. The price of the Battlefield game has been announced.
By the way, I'm surprised they
Well,
yeah.
Let's be honest. You don't want people to talk about the price of Battlefield 6. You want to talk about Battlefield 6.
Yeah, they can't take any risks with that. That is, they need this one.
Yeah. So let's not shift the conversation from the content and the game to the pricing. That would be an unnecessary backlash, a long-term unnecessary backlash.
Though they do have the higher SKU that is almost $100+. So
like before, I mean, there's always been these more expensive SKU, and I think where a publisher can move the needle is that increase the share of this expensive SKU, so that the average revenue per game is higher.
Exactly.
But always leave a kind of an acceptable entry point.
Absolutely.
It's already a high level entry point.
I mean, looking at what I'm seeing on Steam right now, it seems like the Phantom Edition or whatever it's called, it's almost half price of the deluxe. I'll show you my screen.
Pretty common, yeah.
The add-on, you can buy the standard edition and buy the add-on on top, or you can buy the bundle. I think that's what you are saying.
Because I was playing a bunch of Dune Awakening, and I was playing enough of it that I was like, hell, I'll buy the upgrade, and I got some new building pieces for my bases. But like, it didn't feel like that's also an angle to work with, is that if you get the entry point, they can still upgrade later.
Yep. Yeah. So the standard edition is 70, and the Phantom is almost 100. And I'm actually excited, by the way, for Battlefield. We didn't get to discuss we had a discussion last week, but then during that night, they revealed the multiplayer trailer, which looked very much like, okay, hey, we're back to, the Battlefield 4 3 days. We're not going to do wacky bullshit skins. It's very military focused. And it looked exciting, just like, pure gameplay, no bullshit. And I hope it will play as good as it looked.
Yeah. And I think I saw someone saying Call of Duty is not worried about the new Battlefield because it's too big to fail. I think I'm interested into how successful will Battlefield 6 be, but also what it means for the industry and for the competition and for other shooters, or even for Fortnite. Who knows? It's just I don't know if it's a coincidence that the beta of Battlefield is starting at the same moment as the new season of Fortnite, to be honest. The servers of Fortnite were down since yesterday, so the update is happening. I don't know, this funny coincidence, why would you do everything at the same time? It's interesting.
Yeah. I worry that we're going to see a Monster Hunter Wild situation with this, because there is a lot of hype. People are excited. I think it's going to do well at launch. But then you always have the trouble that people just kind of slink back to these platforms where they've invested, in some cases, thousands of dollars or euros or krona.
I have a solution for your concern, which they already worked on. But before I say that, I think they really need to hit the gameplay here, right? It can't it can't be wacky in any shape or form. The performance and we've always back in the day had issues with network performance, but if they can really nail down that this is all about community and let the community manage themselves, I think that's where the magic happens. And that is the reference I'm doing with I forgot the name of it, but the Godot based map editing tool, if that is as powerful as it looked on screen, then the community can just take over and start making their own rules and their own maps and their own flavors to what Battlefield is. And I think that's where the key is. And if I remember, Manu, maybe you can correct me here, I think this time around they're focusing on 3 modes. They're not having like a plethora of game modes and trying to like do everything. Is that correct?
I'm not aware of that.
At least in one of the trailers that I saw where the developers were talking, I think it was like just Conquest, Rush, and 1 or 2 other ones, like the main ones, and not trying to do. Yeah,
I think what you can judge Battlefield 6 in 2 years from now probably, because there's also a tendency of DICE to release the game, take 1 year to fix it, and when it's fixed and it's doing well, they abandon it.
You mean Battlefield Studios? Because
yeah. But I mean, we saw that with Battlefront 2 also. They take a lot of time to fix the game, and once it was fixed, they basically went to something else, to do something else. And I think here we need to see a long-term commitment, because it cannot be reset. The ambitions cannot be reset every 2 or 3 years anymore. I don't think that will work this time.
I don't think that they have the leeway that they used to have.
No, there is no leeway. 2 additional notes. I do think Battlefield, if they execute properly with the gameplay and people are happy and the reviews are happy and all that shit, I think it will absolutely dominate this season. I think there is fatigue of Call of Duty and Warzone and that type of stuff. I hope, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I hope they're not doing a battle royale.
They are.
They are doing one.
Oh, the map has leaked already.
Okay, so there is a battle royale.
Yeah, because they need 100 million players, which means there is a free-to-play battle royale coming, most probably.
100 million players. That is so many people.
But why? Like, why?
Because 100 million players.
Yeah. Yeah, they should also have like a cozy home decoration mode and a match 3.
Maybe.
I'm sure somebody can use the editing tools to make that happen, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this the right thing for this brand and game to try and do all these things? Because I just mentioned, like, yeah, they got the core stuff down and hopefully, like, they're good and fun and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden you have this, now you're confirming to me, Battlefield 6 Battle Royale. And by the way, I just want to confess that I was one of the people at fault for proposing Battle Royale. 2017, 2 months on the heel of PUBG becoming popular. So I apologize for that version of the Battle Royale, by the way. But here and now, does Battlefield need a Battle Royale?
Need is a complicated.
How much more money do you need?
Okay,
how much more money do you
Forget
need?
the money. Do Battlefield players care about a Battle Royale in Battlefield?
The non-Battlefield players will come and play Battle Royale.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not for the Battlefield players.
It's a free to play entry point, is what it is.
So it's an acquisition channel.
Yeah, it's a gambit. It's if they can't really come for Call of Duty without a free to play entry point, and we've sort of established that Battle Royale is a free to play genre.
I mean, it's been also proven that the Warzone has increased the sales of the base game of Call of Duty, of the premium game of Call of Duty.
Okay, I'll end with this, gentlemen, which is I'm actually, again, I think this is one of the mistakes that the Battlefield games have had done in the past, which is Battlefield 6, so I'm reading this story from esports.gg, but Battlefield 6, 9 maps and 8 modes on release. And this is where I think, historically speaking, you don't need 8 modes. You need like a solid 2, 3, 4 max that you just focus your entire community on. Iterate, make it perfect, and then from there you might expand over time.
9 maps is a lot of maps.
9 maps is okay, I would say. If anything, I would say that's disappointing, to be honest with you.
And that's the most expensive asset. Huh?
It is the most expensive asset.
It's for the scope of these maps.
Yeah, it's not Call of Duty map with it's like a 25 square meter.
But we have AI tools and we have modern tools to make it cheaper and better.
Yeah, and we have our fairy godmother to just wave it all the
way. Fortnite is one map.
League of Legends is one map. Is more expensive.
Counter-Strike. Yeah. 1-2 maps maybe that are mostly used. It's not about the number. I think saying that you need more maps and saying you need less mode, it's a personal taste. It's not a truth as such.
Well, I mean, I remember the data suggesting otherwise. In terms
Okay.
of like, okay, yes, you release a DLC pack, and then there's like one that sticks out, and obviously that's where people hang out. And but I think based on that, what I'm trying to get to is probably I would have loved to see more traditional maps from old Battlefield games that are just like,
But that's Portal. That's Portal.
But why create new ones that is going to take time for people to get?
But you will have them in Portal. They
are
basically.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole concept. If I followed correctly,
Okay.
that players can just do their own stuff. Somehow they're giving editing tools, I believe, to old maps. Like it's the concept of Battlefield Portal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think if they just came and say, "Oh, we only have remasters of all Battlefield maps," that would have been a funny discussion to
Absolutely.
watch. Yeah, it's like the Call of Duty remaster, Modern Warfare 2 and 3.
Yeah, but I think that would be impactful though, especially for old people like me. But yes, okay, gentlemen, I think this is it makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I hope I wish them the best of luck, and I'm looking forward to it. I have already a squad assembled. Like, I mentioned before that we've been playing Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare, Warzone a lot the past 2 months, but now we're getting Verdansk has been fun for 2 months. I think it's time to move on a bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing Battlefield do Battlefield. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. It was fun talking to you and picking your brains on the various topics. Of course, if you're home listening, please do subscribe, like, all these things. And then, of course, subscribe to our newsletter, guysweekly.substack.com, every Friday morning, 9 a.m. Only the best. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I will see you next week.
We will see you. Well, I'll see you in a little bit.
Yes, and we'll see you at Gamescom.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Bye.